welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making peach cobbler. So it's summertime and peaches are in season, and I thought what better way to use up some fresh fruits than to make a cobbler. This is a really easy recipe. It's super simple. It's pretty quick to make. You can whip this up in about 30 minutes, and then you need about 40 to 50 minutes in the oven depending on how hot your oven runs. So let's get started and I'll run through all of the ingredients that you're going to need to make this delicious peach cobbler. All right, so let's get started with our ingredients. In this bowl here, I am whisking together 1 cup of flour, 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So you just want to whisk this together, making sure you've got no lumps of brown sugar in here. To this, you're going to add in 3/4 of a cup of milk. Now, I'm using full fat milk, but you can go ahead and substitute this out for coconut milk. If you're non-dairy, you can add just regular 2% milk if that's what you've got on hand. So we're just gonna pour that in. And this is gonna be our cobbler batter. So we're gonna mix this together and then we're gonna set this bowl aside while we work on our peaches. Right, so this is what your cobbler batter should look like once it's all nicely mixed together. Now for the peaches, I am using 5 peaches that I have sliced evenly, just like this. Now, I like to leave the skin on my peaches, but if you want to remove the skin, you can totally go ahead and do that. I just like the extra added bits of color that it gives to this dish. So I didn't use super ripe peaches. I actually went for ones that were a bit firmer because we're gonna cook them in a sugar syrup for a little while. So they get nice and soft and they get really sweet. So I kind of find that when you use peaches that aren't super ripe, it kind of lends more of a tartness to this dish, which already has a lot of sugar in it. That's just my personal preference. You can do what you like. You can go ahead and use some ripe ones if that's what you've got on hand. Another reason why I like to use ones that aren't too ripe, that are still nice and firm, is because it's a lot easier to slice them nice and thin when they're a bit firm, because when peaches get soft, they're just such a mushy mess. You can also do a mixture of peaches and nectarines if you don't have all peaches. It's totally up to you. So we're gonna cook this on the stove with 3/4 of a cup of sugar and 1/4 teaspoon of salt until all of the sugar is dissolved, and these are just nice and kind of saucy. So here I have a saucepan with 3/4 of a cup of white sugar and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and I've just added my peaches to the pan, and I'm just gonna give them a light stir. And basically what's gonna happen here is the heat from my stove is gonna melt the sugar, and it's also gonna release some of the juices from the peaches. So we're gonna get a really nice sort of runny sauce, which is what we want, but we don't want it too saucy. We just want it evenly coated. Give it a very gentle stir so you don't have too much sugar on the bottom of the pan, or that might start to burn. All right, and we're just gonna put that on a medium heat and let that cook down a little. And now while our peaches are cooking away, we're gonna get our pan ready. So here I'm using just a really cute little ceramic dish. I like this dish, this in particular dish, because it's a bit higher, and I just like thicker layers when I'm personally eating or serving a cobbler, but you can use a 9x13 dish and that'll be just fine. So in here I've got 5 tablespoons of butter that I've cubed like that, and I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this dish in the oven, and I'm gonna let that melt the butter for anywhere around 5 to 7 minutes. It just depends on how long it takes for your butter to melt. Now you wanna check on your stove every so often because you don't want your sugar syrup and your peaches to burn. And once you see that all of your sugar crystals have dissolved, that means that your peaches are probably about ready. So I'll show you what mine look like right now. So as you can see, they're not quite saucy yet, and there is still some sugar crystals remaining, so I'm just gonna let that cook for a few more minutes. All right, so my peaches are ready. You can see all of the sugar has dissolved. They're a bit saucy now. Now the liquid is gonna be just a tiny bit runny. It's not gonna be super thick, and you don't wanna overcook these. So just as soon as the sugar's all dissolved, you wanna take that off the heat and just set that aside. And now we're gonna go check on our pot of butter in the oven. All right, so my casserole dish is ready. My butter is all nicely melted. So that's what it should look like. And now to this, we're just gonna pour our batter over top of the butter. We're not gonna mix it, we're just gonna pour it in. Got my batter here, and I'm just very carefully going to pour this on top as evenly as I can get it. And now I'm using an offset spatula, and I'm just gonna pop this mitt on so I don't burn my hand on this pot. I'm just gonna spread my batter all the way to the edges of the pan, or the pot, the dish. So it's nice and even all the way around, just like that. So you can see that some of the butter has like seeped to the top, and that's okay, it's not a big deal. So next we're going to arrange our peaches over top of our batter. Now again, being super careful because these are gonna be really hot, you don't wanna burn yourself. I like to take the slices of peaches, and now you don't have to do it the way that I do it. You can just as easily like spoon this over, but I like to arrange them in like a pretty little pattern because, well, I'm me. Try and do this without burning my hand. Ooh, hot. All right, that's all done. So we'll show you what that looks like. Now, if you like yours extra cinnamony, you can go ahead and sprinkle on a little bit more cinnamon powder, but I think I've got enough in my batter, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is now. And I'm gonna pop this in the oven for 38 to 40 minutes on 350 degrees. So my cobbler is ready. It's fresh out the oven, piping hot. It looks delicious. I absolutely love the color that the skin from the peaches adds to this. It just looks so gorgeous. So let's go ahead and try some. Now this is gonna be super, super hot, so if you're doing what I'm doing, be extra careful. Ooh, that looks good. It's like nice and cakey at the bottom. Oh my God, you can smell the cinnamon. It smells amazing. Now, you can serve this up with some vanilla ice cream if you like, but in my case, I'm actually just gonna use this. I love this stuff. It's my favorite. It's like coconut whipped cream, but it's made with coconut milk, or maybe coconut cream, I'm not really sure. But anyways, it's non-dairy and it's amazing. It's so good. I could literally eat this out of the can. So let's try it with our peach cobbler. I'm so excited. I haven't had this in so long. I literally have not made this in like, I don't know, like 5 years. Oh my God. So good. The peaches are perfect. It's not too sweet. The coconut cream actually goes really, really well with this. Oh my God. It was so good. It was so good. I love peach. Like, my favorite flavor of all time is peach. Fuzzy peaches, peach flavored Red Bull. It's so good. Now, you can totally make this off season too. If you don't have fresh peaches, you can go ahead and use canned ones. In fact, it's a little bit faster because you don't have to cook the peaches on the stove. You can just open up the can, place it on top of the batter, and then in the oven it goes. So I really hope that, I actually can't stop eating this. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you try this recipe at home. If you do, take a picture, tag me in it because I'd love to see. And don't forget to like this video down below. Follow my channel so you can keep up to date with my new videos every week. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care. We'll talk to you soon.